Good afternoon on what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Saturday the 27th of August and I have an unbox to open up and a nice cup of tea. Now I've already been into this box because there are things in there that were for my partner, but for me there is a copy of this Warlock of Firetop Mountain by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. Now, why have I got a copy of this? Surely you ask, you've got a copy of this. You're old enough. You're actually old enough to have bought a copy when it came out. And you'd be entirely correct. I am. I do have a copy of it somewhere, and that's the problem. I have two copies of it somewhere, and I don't know where they are offhand. So I had to go get another copy because I wanted one for today. I have essentially an original copy, well thumbed, well read, and then a nice little hardback as well. But I wanted a copy for today, 27th of August 2022, because it is International Gamebook Day, and it is the wizard Zagor's birthday. He is 40 years old today, and that means that the Warlock of Firetop Mountain and Fighting Fantasy is also 40 years old today. So happy birthday to them both. Now, this is really kind of a little bit different to the version you're going to be used to. If I'd been prepared, I would have actually dug those copies out and be able to do a side-by-side comparison or something like that. But I wasn't. And you're going to have to make do with this. So this is the Scholastic version. There's the artwork. Our fans of the old game will look upon this, old versions will look upon this with aghast. It doesn't have Russ Nicholson's superb artwork in it, which is a pity, but there we go. What it does have is rather lovely map of Alancia, which gives a bit of space, a bit of groundwork to lay for future adventures in the series, which of course would include City of Thieves, Citadel of Chaos, Forest of Doom, Death Trap Dungeon, and so on. Island of the Lizard King, Gates of Death. I mean, those are just the first 12. Now, this though arrived in 1982 without much heralding. Announced in White Dwarf mostly, because that was where the core audience for the book was, or the ready to buy audience for the book was, because Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson were both involved in White Dwarf, founded it, and were editors and so on. But so they there were adverts for this in the magazine. We waited to come out. It came out. We went and bought it. And it wasn't where and the thing is, we didn't buy it from, what would be our local gaming shop. If you're lucky to have one, we bought it from the bookshop. That's the important difference with this book. It is an adventure game, or a game book, or a fairly simple role-playing game that you could buy at the shelves, off the shelves of your local bookshop, and once it got really popular, off the shelves of your W.H. Smiths, because it did get popular. The first print run sold out very quickly. It got printed multiple times. It would lead on to a total of 59 titles being published between 1982 and 1995. There have been more since. It would also spur the publication of other series. Of course, the Lone Wolf series is probably the most well known, but there were series written around Greek heroes, ninja heroes, other fantasy series. They were all appearing during the early to mid 80s in the wake of the publication of this one book. And it was also lead to, from this, you would actually have things like, this would become a board game, a computer game. It would even become its own D20 system scenario, so for which you can actually see the whole of the map. Very dark, not easy to actually read, of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain's Labyrinth. But I can certainly remember going through, playing this, and at the same time drawing out a map on graph paper, because that's what you did. And in doing that, I got the copy of the map, and just one sheet of A4, sort of like, you know, exercise book graph paper, and comparing it to this map. And there isn't a lot of difference. There isn't a lot of difference between that map and the one I drew. But this had the great advantage of, as I say, being available on the shelves of your local bookstore. So, in appearing there, it became a vehicle for introducing gamers to the hobby, because it was available in a mass market medium, introducing the concepts of role-playing and rolling dice and playing a character and so on. Now, they were already there. You go back and you look at things like the Choose Your Own Adventure books. There were lots of those. They were primarily American. And then you have the tracker books before it. If you ever find those, they're really quite fascinating pieces of design, primarily through use of a lot of graphics to illustrate what you see in a particular location. And then of course you had the Tunnels and Trolls adventures. There were solo adventures for that, but they were all keyed off sort of like quite complex things. So obviously, to play the Tunnels and Trolls adventures, you needed Tunnels and Trolls, and that wasn't readily available. The Choose Your Own Adventure, well, you read through them, but the sense of investment in them, I don't think would have been as great as in this this book, because you created a character, you created someone that you could get attached to. He didn't have a name, but he had stats for his skill, his luck, and his stamina, and you made decisions upon his behalf. At each location, listen at the door. Do you open the door? Okay, or do you go on? Or when you open the door, oh, you see so many opponents. Do you sneak in or fight them or run away? Constantly asking you to make choices like that through that, just as you would a Choose Your Own Adventure book. But you created the character, and throughout you would see his stats fluctuate as your luck ebbed and flowed, and you'd accumulate things and note them down, because ultimately what you're trying to do in this is explore the depths of the dungeon and steal the Warlock Zagor's treasure. And for that you need 2 keys to his treasure chest. You have to find both. It wasn't easy, and it would take you multiple attempts. There are 400 entries in the book. Some of them are fairly inconsequential, you know, just no more than a paragraph. You're standing in a narrow corridor. Behind you is a secret door to the east. Ahead of you is a crossroads. Go through the door, turn to 177. To walk to the crossroads, turn to 267. That sort of thing. And that's what you've got inside. And the other thing you had, of course, was computer games, like The Hobbit. But again, they required a bit of investment, so you had to have the right. You had to have a computer and know how to use that computer, and plug it into your television, load the program, etc., and to get to that point to play it. Now that's fine. If you could do that, that was fine. This, all you needed to do was be able to buy the book, have a pen, some paper and a pencil to note down your stats, and whatever you needed to hand. Note down what you found. And then what you needed after that was your imagination to really think about what you were doing. And you didn't even need dice, because at the bottom of the page you had these randomizers. You'd flick through the page to get a result. So that made the game even easier to play. Now, I can't remember whether these were in the original. I see that's a failing of this unboxing there, but they've certainly been in one since, and they really are useful. So you could play anywhere, because a pencil, some paper, this book, very portable, and also even with the dice, very portable. Yeah, it's really quite an interesting little book in the sense that so many times it introduced people to the ideas of role playing and gaming and adventure gaming, and was really accessible because of where it was sold and the format. And also the other thing is sort of like when you're playing it, you get to one section and you go, oh, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? The great thing is that you could stick your thumb in it and go and explore down a spur and go, oh, I don't like that one, I'm going to come back and get to this one. That's okay. Purists, of course, would tell you that was cheating. That was not the way to play it. But you did play it like that, I bet. Most of you. But yeah, still, this is the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. It's still playable. It's still enjoyable. It's still classic fantasy of you as a warrior against the wizard and his minions deep within a complex of tunnels and caves within his mountain, Firetop Mountain. This would lead to the sales of millions of books, millions of people enjoying them. Its own history. Do check out You Are the Hero. There are 2 volumes of that, and it's a really good history to read of the whole series. And there's even a Gamebook Day festival coming up as well, at which Steve Jackson and E. Livingstone will be launching a new title. I can get away with that saying Steve Jackson Games because Steve Jackson of Steve Jackson Games also wrote some of these titles, just to confuse everyone. So yeah, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, 40 years old. This year, so happy Gamebook Day, everyone. Do go if you've got one of these, go to your shelf and have a look at it. Play your favourite, play this one, and enjoy. There are lots of memories in this. It's a fantastic little adventure. I'm coming back to it mostly fresh after a long while of actually not playing it. I'm going to sit down and leaf through it and explore it this afternoon. But yeah, happy International Gamebook Day, everyone. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me in the Nook with a box from which I will unbox a book or a game and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 2 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.